Yes. With this, I'll start. So we are all here from the on behalf of Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, SINE IIT Bombay. I, Dr. Priyanka Majumdar, I welcome you all in this session of it is the fourth session of Biotechnology Ignition Grant Awareness 24 call. It's an awareness session. So as we are all here and we know that biotechnology Ignition Grant, BIG, has opened its call, and the call will remain open till 31st of May 2024. So here we have 10 of our ecosystem partners with us who has gracefully agreed to collaborate and join hand in hand to spread awareness about this program. So I'll start with thanking all of you to join us for this session, and also I'll give a brief introduction of our ecosystem partners. So we have PITES. PITE is a BITS Pilani Incubation Center, which is called Pilani Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Society. It is a TBI located in BITS Pilani campus. It's a sector, PITES is sector agnostics and have supported so far more than 170 startups, through various programs. We also have IIT Bhubaneswar Research and Entrepreneurship Park, which is established in 2017 and has the name implied in the IIT Bhubaneswar campus. It is a Section 8 non-profit organization. It has the main thrust area of this incubator is food tech, clean tech, renewable energy, biotechnology, with special emphasis of VR and augmented reality. We have IITM Bio-Incubator. It is established in 2014, located in IIT Madras. It is supported by BIRAC. It is a home to almost more than 350 deep tech startups, and it has incubated more than 220 startups. We have Atal Incubation Center, CCMB, which is supported by host organization, which is a CSR Institute, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology. CCMP has supported more than 120 startups, and more than 200 CR funds has raised by the startups. The main thrust area is healthcare product and biotechnology. We have Satyabhama Technology Business Incubator, which is supported by NSTEDB. It is a DST organization. It was established in 2012. Its main thrust area is mainly marine bioresource, and it is the India's first bioincubator for sustainable blue economy. We have Deshpande's startups with us. It's established in 2016 in Karnataka, and it supports various innovators, student innovators, budding entrepreneur, and also small and rural town solution giver. We have AI Atal Innovation Center THAB. THAB, it is incorporated in 2015, and it has so far associated and supported almost 2,000 startups through its various programs and mentoring activities. We have IIT Gandhinagar Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, IIEC. It is established in 2014 with the mission to foster techno-entrepreneurship. It is also a IIT based incubator, and it supports startup entrepreneurship in various diverse domains of science and technology. We have Majumdar Shaw Medical Foundation Technology Business Innovator. It is the India's first technology business innovator, which is based with hospital, first bio-based, hospital-based bio-incubator. It is established in 2014, has so far supported over 50 startups, and it is also supported by various government and non-government private funding organizations. We have Social Alpha Karnataka with us. Social Alpha has supported more than 200 startups so far. It is a multi-stage venture developmental organization which focus on create venture and try to solve complex social and economic and environmental problems. So that is incubator, as you all know, but I want to again emphasize this incubator plays a very important role and in nurturing early stage startups. innovation and entrepreneurship. Incubators provide start to scale support to startups. What does incubator generally do? It provides you a workspace, it provides you labs facility, mentoring access, do hand holding for early stage innovators, helps in various grant, also helps in gives you exposure to various other fund. If you're associated with an incubator, you get to network a lot of similar minded people, or also a lot of similar minded organization, get a lot of visibility. So it is, I want to mention one line because I believe that some of our audience today might be a innovator, individual innovator, they are might from academic institute and not associated with an incubator. So if you are interested in innovation and want to take a entrepreneurship route of your career, it is important that you get associated with an incubator, you talk to them, find out about their programs, and get involved in this system. With this, I will go to the main focus of today's talk. So just, yeah. That is biotechnology ignition grant. As I have already mentioned, the call is currently open and the call will remain open till 31st May 2024. The portal closes exactly at 5:30 p.m. And if you are not applying before, there are various instances where people are unable to submit because there is a last minute rush. So in today's session, there will be three sections. First, I'm Priyanka Majumdar, and I'll give a brief overview about this grant program. What is its scope, its reach, what is the eligibility criteria, the fundamentals, guidelines. And we'll have a mentor, Dr. Devashish Das. He is a BIRAC and DST mentor and advisor. He will talk about he will talk about his expectation from a reviewer's perspective during BIG application. And we'll also have Dr. Lini Basil. She's a clinician turned entrepreneur, and she is one of our BIG 15 grantee. And she will talk about her entrepreneurship journey, her journey through BIG program, how to apply, how to take care of BIG application, and forward all this. And later we'll have an interactive Q&A session. If you have any question, you can also write in the chat box. And after I finish my talk, I'll try to give as much as answer possible. So briefly, what we are SINE IIT Bombay. It's a society in IIT Bombay, in which we established in 2004. And we are also a BIRAC Bioinvest incubator. And we are supported by various government organizations like BIRAC, DST, METI, and many more. As I already mentioned, we are an incubator, and as other incubators also, we also provide infrastructure, funding, mentoring, support, hand-holding. We have a large pool of investors, mentors associated with us, also a huge ecosystem. If you are associated with SINE, you get to network a lot of people. As similarly, if you are associated with other incubators, you will also get similar visibility. So for BIG application, today we talk about BIG because SINE is one of the BIG partners. So there are total 8 BIG partners across country, and we are one of them. Since the application process and the follow-up things everything is online and virtual. So BIG applications comes from anywhere in the country. So as you can see, although we are located in Maharashtra, we get application pan-India. So what are the before going into detail of BIG, I would like to take 1 minute to make you understand what are the funding opportunities available in BIRAC. So what is BIRAC? It is an extended arm of Department of Biotechnology to support entrepreneurship. So BIRAC provide a number of grants. At the stage of initial ideation, there are grants like SIP, Srishti, and BIG. So BIG is a regular call, calls open up twice a year. There are other grants for academic innovators who has a commercial idea of a product but doesn't want to commercialize right now. There are grants for them like PACE AIR and PACE CRS. There are other grants which can be availed post BIG, like CBRI, BIPP, but not exactly post BIG, for higher level. When your product is in higher TRL level, you can apply for such grants as well. Today's talk, I'll mainly focus on BIG. So what is Biotechnology Ignition Grant? As the name implied, it's an innovator grant. The grant is given if you have an idea, or if you have a proof of principle or a lab stage prototype, and you want to make a product out of it and commercialize. So any innovative idea with a clear-cut possibility of commercialization, they can eligible for this application. The purpose of this, the target of this grant is can be individual can apply for this grant. Also, startups can apply for this grant. Individuals like academic innovators, faculty member, clinician, PhD student, MTech student, pharma students, they all can apply for this grant. The support is given for 18 months, and it is a 50 lakh grant for development of proof of concept from the stage of ideation. So what is the overview of BIG? As I already mentioned, this is the 24th call. So far, BIG has supported almost more than 950 projects, and more than 125 products has been seen in the market. And the BIG grantees have so far raised more than 1,000 CR follow-on funding. So now I will discuss eligibility for this BIG grant. So as I mentioned, an individual and company can apply for this grant. For individual, for when a company is applying for this grant, the company will be denoted by a principal investigator. So when an individual is applying for this grant, the minimum educational qualification for an individual to apply is undergraduate degree in any discipline, but he or she is supposed to have a expertise in his area of application. The individual has to be an Indian citizen. So if you should provide you should have a passport. If you do not have a passport, I suggest you apply for a passport right away, and at the time of application, you have to provide a passport, or at least a proof that you have applied for it. It is if you have a shareholder in any biotech company, you cannot apply as an individual. You will have to come in a company route. BIG also allows academic people to apply for this grant. If you are is a faculty member, or if you are a clinician, or if you are a PhD student at the late stage of your PhD and want to explore this entrepreneurship route, you can apply for this grant. And at the time of application, you will have to provide a no objection certificate from your organization stating that if you get this grant, you will devote you will also devote some time for your project, BIG project, and you will also while keep on working in your current job profile. This is only for people who are in academia. They can have this respect. They can have this advantage. But if you are a privately employed and wants to apply for a BIG grant, if you get the grant, you have to quit your job. So at the time of application, you will have to produce a letter stating the intention of quitting your current job and work full-time for your BIG project when you get this grant. These are very important criteria for applying as an individual for BIG. Now, if you are applying from as a company route, only the private organization, private limited or LLP are eligible. There is an age restriction. For BIG application, the age of the company should be less than 5 years at the date of call starts. So for BIG 24 call, the companies which are incorporated on or after 15 April 2019 are only eligible. The company will be represented by a principal investigator. The principal investigator should have educational qualification, minimum educational qualification. Principal investigator must be a shareholder of this company. It might be a very small share, 1%, but it has he or she has to be a shareholder. Minimum 51% share of the company should be held by Indian citizen, and you have to provide passport or valid certificates of all the shareholder at the time of application. The company, if have if the company has a shareholder who is a stakeholder in another eligible company, that means stakeholder another biotech company older than 5 years, then the company is not eligible to apply for BIG. So now there are, as the name implies, it's a biotechnology grant. So anything under which comes under the field of biotech, health tech, agri-tech, industrial biotech, environmental tech, all these things are supported. There are 5 things. In healthcare, there are 3 things. One is medical device, medical diagnostics, and drugs. There are agri-tech. One theme is called agri-tech that supports agricultural and food automation, veterinary science, all these things. And there are industrial biotech theme. The environmental tech, sanitization, waste management, all these applications, clean energy applications in those fields are also eligible for application. Any AI, ML, IoT based software driven solution, suppose you have an idea of you have a product, it is a platform for health tech, which can be used in health tech, or you have a IoT based software solution, which can be used in agriculture, maybe a robot, which can be used for sanitation. This kind of solution, this kind of projects are also eligible for BIG application. Now, for your TRL level, technology readiness level of your product or your solution is an important factor. Since it is an initiation grant, the technology readiness level should be below 4. If you want to understand more about the technology TRL level of your product, you can reach out to us. So SINE, as I already mentioned, we are one of the 8 BIG partners. So what we do as a BIG partner, we provide grant writing support. We do pre-application mentorship. We also provide pre-TP mentoring. Pre-TP is a stage in BIG evaluation, which I will describe later. We also provide mentoring hand-holding during the tenure of BIG project. We do due diligence, also give IP legal IP regulatory support, and so on and so forth. So as you today throughout this talk, you will listen to all various kind of this buzzword like BIG partner, which I already mentioned. The SINE is one of them. And what does BIG partner do? And another one is incubator. So I introduced the incubators at the beginning. So you must have a fair idea what incubator do. And why incubator is important for your BIG application, because this is the mandate of BIRAC, that if you get the grant, you will have to incubate it in an incubator. An incubator will provide you a space, infrastructure, lab facility, also provide you mentoring support, hand-holding, help you in follow-up funding. So if you are planning to apply for BIG and already associated an incubated somewhere, you have to provide a MOU at the time of application. If you are an individual not associated with any incubator but wants to apply for BIG, you will have to produce a letter of intent from an incubator stating that if you get this grant, the incubator will allow you to incubate you for the period of BIG for completion of your project. And this is a very important document. I'll again discuss it later. So now I'll take you through the process of BIG evaluation. It is a very involved grant, and from the start of call opening to the end means the declaration of grantee and grantee BIG awardee for that particular call and the grantee onboarding takes around 6 to 8 months. So what happens after you apply for the BIG? When you are applying in the portal, you have to choose your BIG partner. So if you choose after you're done with your application will come to the BIG partner, and the BIG partner will then check the supporting documents. There are a number of supporting documents like your passport, like if you have provided the letter of intent from an incubator, so on and so forth. Those are checked by your BIG partner. BIG partner also check the scheme fit. Suppose your application, as I mentioned, there are 5 themes. And suppose your application is in the theme of diagnostics, but you mistakenly put as device. So what the BIG partner do, it will it may create problem later, because when your application will go for online review, it may not get a particular proper set of reviewers, because you have chosen a correct, wrong theme. So what does BLG partner do? BLG partner go through our application, check the scheme fit. If it doesn't match, BLG partner actually talk to the applicants and find out a suitable theme. We also do, BLG partner also does plagiarism check and check for sufficient content. After this, if your application is eligible, then the applicants are intimated. So when you first apply for BIG grant, you will get a temporary application number. Post the eligibility checking, if your application is eligible for the first round, you get another reference number. Post this, all the application for a particular theme. Suppose in device there are 200 applications. So all the device application will be clubbed together, and 1 or 2 BIG partner will sit with that application, and each application are assigned to 5 different reviewers for online review. Now, who are these reviewers? These reviewers are taken from a pool of BIDAC accepted panel. And these reviewers can be a subject matter expert, they can be a technical expert, scientist, IP expert, regulatory expert, clinician, so on and so forth. People with proper expertise. And each application are looked from a various different angle. And what are those angles? They are looked from a technical perspective and also from a business perspective. Because BIG actually encourage applications. It is a grant for entrepreneurship. So it encourages application which has a clear-cut commercial potential. So the business perspective is also checked very thoroughly in the application. Now, after online review, all the application is marked and a cutoff geometric mean is taken for each application, and 1 cutoff marks is decided for each theme. So the number of application which scored above the cutoff marks will go to the next round, which is called technical evaluation panel. Now, what happens in technical evaluation panel? Here, the applicant has an opportunity to present their data in front of a technical committee, which is consist of 8 to 9 experts. So here you have to present your data in an 8-minute presentation, which is a recorded presentation. Then there will be a 12-minute Q&A session. Here also, each project is evaluated and for various different parameters like technical competence, like novelty and team strength, what is the commercial potential, so on and so forth. Post that, in the TP round, another cutoff marks is decided, and whichever application scored above that cutoff marks are presented in front of a ESC committee. Now, it is a BIDAC approved central committee where final cutoff marks for each theme for that particular call is decided and decisions are made. Now, there will be an announcement in BIDAC portal that these people has got BIG X, they granted BIG grant. Now, here comes the incubator. Now, the incubator will do due diligence of their BIG awardee and then start the BIG grant. So I have already mentioned who are the reviewers. Now, what is the eval? Now, I'll spend few more time in this evaluation parameter and how to make an application. So what are the evaluation parameter? As you can clearly see here, one of the evaluation parameter, 20% weightage is given to unmet need. So what solution you are proposing, or what is the unmet need? What is the problem statement? What is the unmet need of the society? The solution you are proposing, suppose you, sorry, I just lost it. So the first 20% is unmet need. Another 20% weightage is given to the value proposition or differentiation. Suppose you are your proposal is a diabetic continuous glucose monitoring device. So there will be other glucose monitoring device in the market. So you have to propose, you have to clearly show how device is different than the existing devices in the market. Is it better? Is it quicker? Is it giving faster data? Is it giving more accurate data, less invasive, cheaper? All these things can be given shown in value proposition. Another important evaluation parameter is technical feasibility. Many propose, because this is at the days this is our innovation grant for a technical product. So 30% weightage is given for technical feasibility. Suppose many projects, they may look very nice in the lab scale, but might be very difficult to replicate that scenario in real life situation. At the same time, it might be very difficult to scale up. Let's take one example. Suppose you are working on a serum-free media and you want to culture glioblastoma cells. And one component of the serum-free media is something extremely costly. You have to import that, and you require it very less. In lab scale, you are able to make it. But when you're going to scale up, it might not be feasible commercially, or to get that material and scale up this product. So this kind of technical feasibility is also considered. Team strength and passion is also very important. Suppose you are a technical person, you are working as a PhD student, last year PhD student, or maybe you are a clinician, and you have a clear-cut idea, you have a technical knowledge in that field. But when you are applying for BIG grant, the commercial potential and other things is also should be well judged. So for that, you might need a business mentor in your team. Maybe you are a doctor and you want to make a device for diabetic neuropathy. For that, you have an idea from a clinician perspective, and you want to give you probably want to hire an electrical engineer and a business mentor in your team. So team strength and team composition is very important. When you are applying for a BIG, if you do not have a team right now, at least you should show what kind of complementary expertise you need in your team for the completion of this project. That is, and another last thing is the business perspective, because your product or solution has to sell in the market. So you will have to have a very clear-cut business perspective. How is the market? What is the market need? Many times, various proposals come and they have a fair idea, extremely good idea about the technicality and everything, but they do not have any. There is a disconnect between the reality and in the technical institutes. So so business perspectives is something that should have should have a clear-cut GTM strategy. You should have a clear-cut idea what is the need of the market and how you are going to sell your product. Wow. So all these things are very important in your BIG application. So I'll just briefly go through the general flow of BIG application. When you apply for a BIG, as I already mentioned, it is a big involved grant and application is long application. So you should provide a very crisp title. Do not provide a vague title. There should be a proposal summary and a novelty, opportunity, and concept note. So how is your product novel? How is it different from the existing solution? How is it an import substitute? Is it doing something is it something better, more economic? The novelty aspect has to be highlighted. You also have to provide what is the opportunity. The opportunity will come from the problem statement. So you have to first define a problem statement, and then, so first there is a problem statement, and then you can say that what is the solution, then that is your opportunity. How, and from opportunity, you also have to present the challenges and risk factor. Because when you are planning to do something, there might be some challenges might occur. So if you already thought about those challenges, if you already have done enough background study to understand what challenges you might face during the time of execution of the project, and you probably be well prepared to handle those challenges. So mention all this in your BIG application. You will also have to provide a concept note. I'll discuss it in a minute. And in BIG application, you will also have to provide proposed end outcome and future plan of commercialization and intellectual property. If you have already filed for an IP, you should provide that. If you filed for an IP with your organization and now apply for a BIG, you have to provide an NOC at the time of your application, and your proposed objective or milestone. So one thing one should remember, it is a 50 lakh grant, but it's a milestone based grant. So there should be 3 milestones, each defining what you are going to do in first 6 months, next 6 months, and last 6 months. And there should be a number of proposed objectives. That can be more than 3, and everything in a tabular form you will have to provide in the application. Just excuse me for sorry. So how to build a strong proposal? The first thing is problem statement, which I have mentioned. You also have to use an end user mapping. Now, end user mapping is important. Suppose you have a device for diabetic foot. So who will be your end user? Patients. But who will be your client? It might be doctor. It might be hospitals or clinic. So you have to do an end user mapping. You should also be doing some kind of market study, end user study, to understand their need before writing this application. Technical detail is very, very important. If you have some preliminary data, please provide that in your application. If you have graphs, image, picture, video of your product, please do provide that. Competitive landscape, as I already mentioned, it carries around 20% weightage. How is your competitive? Who are your closest competitor? How is your product different from your competitors? Please mention that. There is various section in BIG application, and you will have to provide a number of different supporting documents. One of the documents is concept note. So concept note is clear. Concept is generally a small document, 1 or 2 page, concisely written about your product. Now there will be another novelty note to mention how is your product novel, how is your product different, is your product associated with, is there any IP related to that? How is your product? Is it any import substitution? Is it any disruptor or a completely new product? All those things will come in the novelty note. Now you will have to produce a slide deck. Slide deck, please be very careful while making the slide deck, because in online review, the reviewers look at the slide deck. And the slide deck should have a proper flow, and it should have everything should be very clearly written. You should not write more. You should provide more images, infographics, flowchart, so that it can be understood very easily. And you should also provide a lot of whatever data you have in a crisp manner. The 3 to 5 year roadmap is also very important. The project is for 18 months, but you are not supposed to end at 18 months and start doing something else if you successfully complete the BIG. So what you will be doing in 3 to 5 years, how you are going to make revenue, all those things should be mentioned in your application. You should also provide the detail of your team member. If you do, emphasize, if you are applying as an individual, do not have a team right now, at least have a clear-cut idea what kind of complementary expertise you need in your team, and also talk to mentors, scientific advisors, business mentors, and try to onboard them in the team. So effective presentation should have a proof of principle. Some amount of preliminary data is always good. If you have a picture, short video, you should also show the differentiator with the competitors, end user, and you should also highlight your expertise. If you're applying, the PI should always highlight his or her expertise. If he is a clinician, if he is an academician, if he is working in a scientist in a R&D, all these things you should always highlight. So how to prepare for your BIG application? There will be an outline. It should have an effective, crisp, clear-cut title. There should be a nice market research has to be done. Prior study for IP has to be done. You should also have give some statistical data. When you're making the body of your application, remember these 5 key metrics of the evaluation and prepare in that way. You should also provide all kinds of supporting data, supporting claim, preliminary, proof of preliminary data. If you have done some patent, if you have already published some paper, please do provide that. So focus, the clarity, scientific rigor, and commercial feasibility are three important points while you are applying for BIG grant. And you please consider your own application in this format. And you have to provide a proposal summary, a novelty note, objectives and milestone, feasibility, challenges, go-to-market strategy. Now, project budgeting, this is another important factor. The total project cost is 50 lakhs. So you get when the BIG grant get this grant, they do not get 50 lakh on the first day. It is a milestone-based project, and the grantees get 15 lakh on the start of their project, and 15, and 5 lakh at the end of their project. So this is one of the earliest stage innovative grant which allows to hire manpower. So if you are already working as a faculty member, you don't need to quit your job to work in BIG. You can provide an NOC and you can hire some people to work on this project. But more than maximum 30% of the project cost can be apportioned to the manpower. Similarly, maximum 30% of the project cost can be apportioned to equipment. Here comes a major role of incubator. BIG grantees are always advised to be incubated in an incubator where they can get maximum infrastructure support, so that they spend less money for equipment and more money for other heads like consumable and contingency and all. There are caps for contingency, and you can also outsource some of your work. If you suppose you want to fabricate something, you can outsource it, and you can also apportion some money for travel and incubation charges and IP as well. There is a royalty payment attached to BIG grant so far, so 5% royalty on the net sales. If you complete your project, if you complete your BIG project successfully, and then you commercialize this product and make money out of it, then you have to give the 50 lakh back to the MIRAC. But how are you giving it? 5% each year till you finish 50 lakh. Similarly, if you transferred your product technology or license your technology to someone, this royalty agreement is still valid for those conditions as well. So please do remember, this long application, a number of documents are required. Many of them are technical documents like concept novelty note, slide deck, so paper, if you have done IP, all this, so on and so forth. But other documents, very important legal documents, one of is LOI from incubator. If you do not provide an LOI at the time of a BIG application, your application will be made ineligible in the first go. So please do not do that. You will also provide a passport. If you do not have one, apply for one right now. If you do not get it at 31st May, at least you can show a proof that you have applied for a passport. If you're in academia, you have to provide an NOC, it's a very important document. If you're a privately employed, the intention to quit is another very important document. If you're applying to a company route, you have to provide the company's incorporation certificate. It's a very important document. Also company financial document and company AOA, MOA, PAN card, etc. So this is SINE BIG impact. We are here till we are handling BIG grant till BIG 15 that started in 2019, and so far we have supported 53 grantees, and our SINE BIG grantees have so far raised 38 crore follow-on funding. 28 IPs has been generated. These are few of our grantee in area of health tech and agri-tech and clean tech, industrial biotech. I'll now get into detail. This is one of the product of one of our BIG grantee, which is Dr. Lini Basil. She'll be here today. So she has developed a product which is a oral patch, hydrating oral patch for xerostomia patients. So xerostomia is a condition. It develops in oral cancer patient or in general cancer patient after chemotherapy. So she is working on that. For the sake of time, I'll not get into much detail about the product. So these are few of the product. I'm just skipping this slide. These are applause of our grantee, some awards. And just keep in mind, start your application process early, start preparation very early. This is not a very you cannot write a BIG grant overnight. You have to make some put some amount of energy and time in it. Get all the necessary, start acquiring all necessary letters, NOC, incubation letter, etc. Get your preliminary data ready. make all the supporting documents, make your slide talk, team with complementary people, or submit at least, if not 1 week, at least 2-3 days in advance, because at the end of PIG application, at the last day, it by the portal might not work in a very conducive manner, and that might have affect your application. So please do not wait for 5:30 p.m. of 31st May. Try to finish your application process before that. With this, I'll just stop my today's talk, and I'll stop sharing my screen, and I'll just allow me a minute. So yes, so now with this, we'll just move to two of our other speaker. So we have Dr. Debashish Das with us. Dr. Das, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Priyanka.
Yes, hi, Dr. Das. So I'll just give a brief introduction, and then we'll have a discussion about discussion. So Dr. Das is a clinician, he's an advisor and mentor in BIRAC and DST, as I wanted to mention. He's a physician with specialization in pharmacology and diabetes. He's currently leading clinical strategy and medical clinical affairs, training and education in Medtronics. Dr. Das has done PGCP in diabetology from Johns Hopkins University, USA, and has done his MBA from University of Leeds. And he has also he's an MD in pharmacology from AIIMS, New Delhi, and done his MBBS from Berhampur, Orissa. So with this introduction, I want to thank you, Dr. Das, to make time for this guidance session for BIG. And so I just want to have a quick yes, just yes. So there are a few things. So Dr. Das, what I would like to know from you, that your perspective as a reviewer, as you are coming from a clinician background, so your perspective as a reviewer for BIG application. So when someone is applying with a healthcare product, how you look at that application, what are the do's and don't, what could be the major thirst, when suppose a early innovator, he or she working in a lab and made a medical device and applied for BIG grant. So what are the parameters he or she should take special care of at the time of application?
Priyanka, I just don't look it from a clinician angle. I'm being a clinician, and I've been now in the industry for last over 20 years. So I look at both from a clinical angle, a technical, and also from a commercial angle. So I look into all these three. Being a clinician background helps me to look at the clinical angle also. So the major issues when I find, especially when these people present into BIG, they don't do a gap analysis. First thing I'm touching. They do not look at need. What they think is, for example, especially if somebody is a scientist or working in lab or a medical course or a engineering college. So what they think is, okay, my lab does this best. Let me make a product on this. Okay. They look solution first and then they look at problems. And that should not be the approach. And sometimes, a lot of times, they come with solutions, but they do not do a gap analysis, or they do not go to the market to confirm, yes, is there a gap? Correct. So that is very, very basic thing. I think whenever you think, first, do not go from a solution to problem. First, go out. If you think, yes, there is a need, then go out to that relevant place, whether it's a diagnostic lab or a primary health care center or a tertiary or a private big corporate hospital, or if it is a healthcare IT, for example, working in a software, go to that market, at least spend some time, talk to different stakeholders, and see what you think that, okay, this is the gap. Whether in reality, is there a gap?
Yes.
Technically.
So the unmet need should should leads to problem statement, not the other way around.
Yes. That is very, very critical. Okay. And then once you know that, you also get confirmed. You get a confirmation when you go to the market, you speak to different stakeholders. Not only you confirm there is a gap or there is an unmet need, you also meet some potential buyers or other stakeholders who influence this. So you will get an insight. Okay, if I'm thinking this is a gap and this is might need the gap, is that your thinking? You can get a buy-in from different stakeholders. That helps you both ways to confirm the need and also to get an idea. Okay, what you are thinking is actually meeting the market need by talking to these stakeholders. Okay, so you should always work on these basic things before going and discussing about the whatever projects or whatever device, whatever you're making.
Yes. And for concept note, how do you think if you are looking at the application in online review, you go through this concept note, novelty note, and so what
Concept
do
note
you
gives
think
you,
how it should
it's like
summarize?
your abstract, correct? When you look at a journal, you have a publication, you have the full paper. Now you don't have time to go through the whole paper. First, you look at the concept, the summary or the abstract. The same, the concept note should be summary of what intent or what is the statement in few lines and what is your proposal, proposed solution for that and how it is going to meet.
Okay, it should be a very concise statement of just a summary and a proposed solution. And you can elaborate it more in further.
Yes.
And I also want to understand the market size. So suppose somebody
I'll
has
come to it.
a
I'll
idea.
come to it. I got it. When people come and they show the market size, they show the global market size and all. You don't need to, correct? Just just uh, just do the simple background work on the India. Even if you are focused on a particular state to be for the first, for example, you are based in Mumbai and you're looking at Maharashtra to start with, and then further maybe a regional and at a country level. If you give the data on Maharashtra itself, maybe regional, Western region, and India data, that will be good enough. We understand that. You just don't need to show us the global data, the FY, the CAGR for that whole for global. We understand that. Okay. And that data is available over the web, wherever you can get it. So, but when you show this data of very concise, I understand, okay, you have done the right work and you know reality. You're looking at Maharashtra, then region, and then India. It gives a clear picture. Okay, you know the market.
Yes. And Dr. Das, how significant do you think the IP section? Because many people might have filed for an IP before applying for BIG, or many of them are not.
I think whether they have applied it or not, but either they should have applied it or they should be in the process of applying. Because I think that's a very, very important thing we look at in BIG. Because if it is not IP protected, you will have lot many Me Too, which will just come before you come to the market and compete with you. So that is very, very critical. So you should have two things you should be very clear when you're thinking IP strategy and regulatory strategy. Because especially in healthcare, we know both are important, regulatory and IP. Correct. So you should at least have discussed with people expertise in that and should have a somewhat clear idea. Okay, if I take the regulatory pathway or the IP pathway, how much time it will take, and what are the issues you might face from both aspects.
So here comes my next question about the regulatory aspect of a product. Suppose it's a device and someone is working on it in a lab and he or she doesn't know how to the regulatory scenario will look like. So
I
before
think that
applying,
is where the big partner or the incubator helps you, correct? Because medical device can be of like four type A, type B, type C, type D. So again, when you discuss with people, you come to know where exactly it falls. If it is a type 1, non-invasive, then the regulatory pathway is very simple. But if it is very invasive and falls in type C, type D, everything changes. So when you are and we know these grants are given to products which can come to the market very soon. If you have a long pathway, then it will be very, very difficult for you to get these grants. So you should be clear enough.
Yes. And do you think preliminary data, a lot of preliminary data is required, or a product in an ideation stage is also encouraged?
This is BIG is from ideation to POC stage. Okay. And it's, as you said, it should be below TRL 4. And mostly they come in TRL 2 or 3. My suggestion is there should be some preliminary work because you are competing with others, correct? If you have just a good idea, might not be good, and because you might have others who have similar type of idea, but then they have some preliminary data, then they have a higher chance of getting accepted than you. So some preliminary work, not only from a grant perspective, at least it'll also give you an idea as an innovator. Okay, whatever idea you have, it's going to work. Correct? It will also give you idea. So from both the perspective, it's important to have some preliminary work and data to share.
And how to look at the novelty note? And very often we see people are struggling to find what is the novelty of their product.
Novelty, as you rightly said, it could be ease of use. It could be cost effective, more cost effective, or it could be easy delivery. But when we say novelty, it's not only the technology. I'm telling from an end user perspective, you have to see novelty. Okay. For example, anything you take, for example, you said continuous glucose monitoring. Okay. Now, already we have glucometers. Okay. Now you say, I want to make a glucometer which doesn't work this way, but it works other ways. Okay. It's a novel mechanism, novel technology, but then the cost of this is for example, 2,000 rupees. But now in India, I get the normal glucometers at 500 rupees. Now, whether it's a novel technology, it could be, but is it really easing anything? Correct? Then it will not stand. So it has to be novel from an end user perspective. Whatever. Technology can be novel, but then at the end, how it is easing.
Yes.
Okay, is it faster? Is it easy to use? Is it easy to interpret? Is it making the clinical decision faster? Or can I monitor a patient remotely, easily, which is cumbersome now? Or, for example, I'll take again diagnostic point of view. Now tuberculosis. Now there are many. Now we have a lot of new in vitro things, a gene expert and other things. Okay. So can you make something, for example, simple from a finger prick or from a breath, can I find out, which will be non-invasive, but still at the same time, equally efficacious and efficiency and sensitivity. So similarly, you have to look at those angles and you have to think at the end of the day, the market potential. You can make a good one, but if there's no business potential, then it will not go far. It will be just like a research project. And in this grant, we are not looking at research project at all.
Yes. It should be an innovative idea, technically very strong, doable, but with a very good market potential. Yes. The solution start from the ground level, where you first check the need. What is the need of the market? And then you go to your solution. And so I understand what is the do's. Can you mention some of the don'ts? What applications should not do in their application? Applicants should not do the application.
They sometimes give a very vague title, as you said. It should be very precise. Okay. Sometimes they say AI/ML for cardiovascular disease. It is very, very vague. If you are working on arrhythmias, you should write arrhythmias. If you're writing on AMI, you should write AMI. AI/ML solution for detecting this in this. Very concise and precise. Don't make vague statement. Like for example, AI/ML for mental health issues. Mental health issues is a huge umbrella. Okay, what exactly are you looking at? Okay, so be very specific, be focused in your title, and do not make over ambitious promises or statements. We always find that. Do not make it. Be realistic. We totally understand. Okay, healthcare is not an easy game. We totally understand. And when it comes to clinical, it's not mathematics. 2:2 is 4 in mathematics, but in science, 2:2 is not 4. It could be 11, it could be 1 also sometimes. And we understand that. So be realistic in when you are saying, okay, I will resolve this, I will do this. For example, I'll just take an example. There was a project, somebody came, I will make a tool which will cure type 2 diabetes. Okay, which is currently impossible. We don't have a clarity on that. So do not make such over ambitious statements. Be realistic and stick to your point.
And in the same line, I also want to mention sometimes the applicants say this is the only solution available in the market. So any such, this kind of claim gather a lot of attraction and scrutiny. Then people just try to find out whether it is right or not, and there will be a lot of discussion and a lot of scrutiny. So when you are making any claim, you should not, as Dr. Das rightly mentioned, please do not be over ambitious. Make your project simpler, doable, innovative. Protect your project with IP. Do a very good market research to understand the market, and give a concept solution which can be marketed quicker. With this, Dr. Das, I have only one question, that what kind of projects do you want to see in BIG? Because since you are sitting in the review committee for long.
No, they should not look at us. They should look at the market, as I said, because at the end of the day, it should be marketed. It should be market potential. Okay. So if you're in healthcare, what are the needs? Non-communicable disease is a need. Okay. It could be mental health issues. It could be oncology. It could be diabetes. It could be cardiovascular disease. It could be chronic respiratory diseases. Okay. Wherever there is an unmet need and where is the market, look at the market. Okay. Not the evaluator. Market is important. Or you have to, so these are the therapeutic areas. Then other things could be for example, healthcare softwares. Can I making the hospital work better? Data capturing of patients, ease of sharing those data within the departments. So that's what I'm telling. So look at the market. What is the market potential of various markets, of various therapeutic areas? Not only therapeutic areas, even within the therapeutic area pockets. For example, can you make something? For example, there's an oncology drug they are giving for this. Can you make a simpler way to monitor it? Because every time patient is not possible to come every time to the oncology center. Can you make something which can be simpler? For example, in India, what are the cancers which are very common? Oral cancers are very common. Correct? If you're working on a cancer which is very rare in India, then definitely people will not be very interested. So look at those, like breast cancer is very common. Cervical cancers are very common. Oral cancers, we are the leaders in India, in the globe, because of the use of oral tobacco. Okay. So these are the areas. So look at the market potential, the burden, disease burden. And if you work in a particular area, whether it is cytometry or assay, any of these, and talk to those people, whether it's a lab diagnostic or from a therapeutic angle, or it could be something else just for monitoring, remote monitoring. It can be anything. But look at market potential and the market need.
How are projects?
And also look at the right pricing. Correct. That is very, very important. You can make something great, but then if your pricing is not right, it will not be purchased by the end user. Correct. So you need to do a proper market search which is available currently. If there are already products there, and so if you want to make a product with something added value, then it should be little competitive, but it cannot be very substantially. For example, existing products are at 5,000 rupees, and you make something which is adding value, not very substantial, but then if you price it at 50,000 rupees, there will be no takers. So be mindful of that.
Yes. With this, suppose systems like electronics, hospital care systems, platforms to gather data, hospital data. We get applications from this kind of projects. So how do you think this kind of projects will do in BIG?
It is a very competitive market. You have big players like most of these medical firms. You have Microsoft, you have TCS, you have so many big players. Okay. So if you really, so two things you can do. Either you can do a very niche thing which is not existing, you could add value to TCS or already a bigger player in that, so that they take your project or something like that. Or maybe, for example, these big projects, TCS or big players are mainly bought by the big corporates like the Apollos of the world. But then small nursing homes might not afford it because they have a different set of things. So you should be clear when you're making solutions. What we call STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Okay. So you should be very clear if you're making something. Okay, I'm not targeting large corporate. I will be just targeting the small nursing homes, like maybe who have beds between 10 to 15. So you should be clear when you are offering things. You should always do a proper STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, so that you are clear. Okay, I'm not going there. I'm only selecting here in this target population.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Das. You have given us a lot of information how to understand more about a project, only from a technical perspective, also from a business perspective and a commercial perspective, how to go about it. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dr. Lini Basil. Lini, can you hear me? Are you here?
Yes. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. So, Dr. Yes, I can hear you. Okay. So, Lini is one of our BIG grantee, and she got in BIG 15 call.
Yes.
Lini, I
I
probably
think
lost
I'm the
you.
first female individual grantee of SINE IIT Bombay.
That's great to know. I didn't know that. So Lini got her VIG project, as I have shown her product. It's a mouth patch for oral cancer patient, hydrating mouth patch. So Lini, I would like to know, how is your journey?
So actually, my journey started as a SIP, BIRAX SIP fellow in Sri Chitra Taimed in Kerala, Trivandrum. So I am basically a dental surgeon. So I was working on, I was actually practicing, doing my clinical practice, and then got into this fellowship and really understood that as a clinician, I have seen a lot of patients with dryness of mouth who has oral cancer, who does the radiation therapy and all. So when the SIP fellowship started, we went and saw a lot of patients and understood that actually the solutions which we are giving, the medications and artificial saliva which we are giving is actually not working out well. So there was a real gap with the patients, that the patients are not getting satisfied with the existing treatment, and which is almost every treatment was imported medications also. So I took this project and then applied for BIG also for the same thing. At that time, I had not started my startup. I applied as in the individual category. So after getting my BIG grant in 2019, that time our COVID wave started, 2020, the first COVID wave started. So at the end of the 2020, I incorporated my company. Right now, we are in the clinical trials phase because my product is almost an innovative kind of product, which doesn't have a exact predicate device. So the regulatory committee of CDSU has asked us to do a clinical trials in a particular number of patients. So we are in that process right now. Yes. Priyanka? Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that is a present status. Almost, I think, almost every point in a BIG grant application, Dr. Debashis has been touched through it, and I totally agree with him. One thing which I want to add is that if you're working on if any of the an engineer or another a person from another trade is working on a medical device, then your team or your mentors should include a doctor, because your product has to be validated by a doctor. if the doctor is validating your problem statement, the gap which you have found, if the is validating that problem statement, then that has a value in front of the review committee. That is what one thing I felt, because when I applied, it was like I am the doctor who suggested this problem, so it had a very good value, because they understood that I am I'm a clinician, so I understand the problem very well. So there is a gap, and I could prove to them that there is a real gap. So they accepted that problem statement and the solution which I proposed. Anything to ask me? Then I that would be more, you know.
Yes, yes. Hi, Lini. I just got dropped off. So you started with problem statement and importance of a clinician, having a clinician in the team.
Yes, the team, or because incorporating a clinician in your team will be very difficult at the initial stage, because clinicians are they are very busy. They won't be getting involved in your product development and all. So, but you can always keep a clinician as a mentor. There should be for a medical device, there should be a clinical mentor, clinical advisor also, and you have to. I would say that your problem statement has to be validated at the minimum by 8 to 10 doctors, because I went and met almost 10 to 15 doctors and validated. Even though I knew that this problem is a very big problem, I went to specialist and validated the problem. That has a value in front of the the committee which is sitting in front of you.
Yes. And I also want to understand, if you coming from a doctor's perspective, if you're going to make a device, so what kind of expertise you had in your team?
Yes.
Was
So and frankly speaking, the expertise which I have is only in the clinical side. So I had to have a scientific side, a person who knows the real science behind what we are working. So my product is basically based on biotechnology. It is a collagen based product. So someone who knows the technology behind it was very much necessary. So I collaborated with a scientist who is Dr. Senthil. He did his postdoc in US, and he was a research fellow this Ramalinga Swami fellow of our institute. So I collaborated with him. One thing was, he was not a scientist of the institute. If you are collaborating with a scientist of a government institute, there are a lot of problems actually involved, because the IP will be shared, the IP will be of the institute, all these issues will be coming. But if you're collaborating with a scientist which is not from a government institute, then such issues will not be a problem. Because the revision committee which asked me one question, that to whom does this IP belong to? If you are, at that time I had actually applied for a provisional patent. So they asked me, whom does this IP belong to? So I said, the IP will be belonging to me. So he said, the committee asked me, how can that be possible? You are actually collaborating with a scientist in Sri Chitra. So I said, he is not a scientist of Sri Chitra. He is a fellow of Sri Chitra. He is not actually a government official. And then this person is a co-inventor of my product. He doesn't own the IP. And that was something which actually then after that, they said, they told me that reply was, that answer was very correct, because BIG wants the IP to be yours. No, BIG insists that IP should be yours. It shouldn't be going to any research organization. It shouldn't be shared with some company like that. So it has a value. So that part should be very clear. The innovation, the IP value is very important in BIG application.
Yes, and I also want to add on here. Sometimes what in our organization, we get applications from IIT Bombay faculties, IIT Bombay students, but they worked on this project in their lab, academic lab, and when they apply for BIG, we have a system here. They can actually license that IP to in their startup. So those
Yes.
kind of NOC you should be looking for if you are planning to apply for BIG, if you want to translate your lab scale work to your startup. So look for a similar kind of NOC to when you are applying for BIG.
And one point which the Dr. Debashish said is very correct, because you have to see the regulatory part of your product. Because at the initial, when I started with this project, I didn't actually have any idea about the regulatory part. And the regulatory issues, regulatory was made very stringent in India by 2022. In 2019-20, it was not that strict, but now it is very strict. So you have to have some idea about which classification your medical device is going to be in, what all process you will have to go through. And last year, when one person applied for BIG, they said, we don't need 50 lakhs. We need just 45 lakhs. So we'll be putting the budget as 45 lakhs. So I said, that is actually a dumb thing to do, because you now think that you don't need 50 lakhs. Actually, 50 lakhs will be nothing when you start this project. You'll understand that very soon. So when the government is saying that you're going to get 50 lakhs as grant, take it. Why ask for 45 lakhs? They are saying that you'll be getting 50 lakhs. So the budget about the regulatory also should be included. You have to think very large and out of the box, that a lot of things are coming up. When you plan your product, plan the package, plan the tertiary package, which is your product is going to be shipped. Until that part, you will have to be thinking.
Yes. And so, Lini, for a general idea, can you just tell me what points you really emphasize during your BIG application? In the application. Sorry.
In the application, the first thing revision committee will be reading is your concept note. The concept note has to be pakka, very nice. You should be conveying your problem, how big the market is. You should convey the solution very nicely. Should have a good, photo or a picture in which through which you can actually say how intense the problem is, how your solution is going to solve this problem, and what you will do with this BIG. All these things has to be there in the concept note. Concept note is very important. The objectives have to be very clear. You don't have to put 4 or 5 objectives. Just 3 objectives are 3 objectives will be necessary, and that 3 objectives should be very clear. You should have a pathway, how you're going to work out, and what TRL you will actually reach, and be very practical and logical in writing. Don't say that I'll be doing this till clinical trials. No one is going to be do this till clinical trials. Everyone knows that. So you have to be thinking very logically and practically. If it is a medical device, it is going to take some time. If it is a software, it will finish soon. But medical device takes time. So you have to be very practical and logical in writing, and that simple writing is what I think will work out. Every product doesn't need machine learning and AI. Sometimes simple solutions will be there. That is also fine. They look into the problem actually, and the solution, the innovation of the solution. If they think that there is a market for it, you will get the BIG.
Yes.
Priyanka,
so,
I just wanted to add here what Lini said, because nowadays we receive all proposals which say AI and ML. Okay.
yes.
The thing is, for AI ML, you need good data, good quality and good quantity data. AI ML doesn't work on just 5 data sets, 10 data sets, 50 data sets, 100 data sets, correct? You need really good large data sets and good quality data. Okay. So as Lini said, you don't need to write always. If you think it will add value to your product, then you make it AI ML enabled. If it doesn't, not required. If it can be without AI ML and solves the problem, and it can be marketed, why not? Okay.
Yes.
So just don't write AI ML, because getting help outside India, getting health data is easy. In India, getting health data is not very, very easy. it is very, 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 very difficult. So where you will get the data to do work on AI and ML? We understand
Yes.
that. Okay, don't just write AI ML in every
100% agreed.
Yes. So the take home from today's is, first you understand your market, see what is your market need, then come up with your solution. And when you are coming up with your solution, make the objectives doable, scientifically sound and doable. And also look at the regulatory aspect, also look at the IP aspect when you're going to open a startup and open an entrepreneurship route. And do not make over ambitious claim, do not write vague lines, do not put AIML just for the sake of the buzzword. Be very honest when you are writing a BIG proposal.
Team is also very important.
And yes,
you should have a very nice team.
thank you, Lini, for that. Team is also very important. One person team, it actually doesn't going to work in long run. And also there are 15% weightage for team. So team is also very important factor. So Lini, if you have anything else to say, or should we open the forum for Q&A?
Yeah, nothing more. If anything, anyone wants to ask personally a question, then I can answer. Otherwise, wish you all the best for all the applicants.
Yes. So I have a problem here. There was 8 questions, but I dropped off and all the questions has vanished now. So if you can just write, I'm just requesting the audience, if you can again write your questions, that would be great. But now I can take few more which are here. So one question is, we are developing a recyclable adhesive layer for multi-layer packaging, so it can be recycled and not harm marine biology. Does BIG only focus on medicine pharmaceutical based solution? No, it is not. You can apply for your product, your kind of problem, your kind of project in BIG. It will probably go into IBT category, or it might be agriculture category, but that we can also discuss.
I think one question was about someone developing molecules in a research laboratory. I think there was one question regarding that. They are a R&D organization. They develop molecules particularly for not particularly for a particular disease, but development of molecules are their area of expertise. Can they apply? That was one question, I guess. But I think for our research purposes, BIG is not a right grant. But research purposes, I think there are other grants for BIRAC also. That is what I understood. In BIG, you have to make a prototype for one particular problem statement is what I know about it.
Yes. So so there is a BIG grant is given for entrepreneurship. You have to produce a product, or you have to work for a solution which can be marketed afterward. It is not an academic innovator grant. So when you are applying for BIG, you have to keep that thing in mind. There are questions like, okay, does the incubation center allow startup access to lab infrastructure? Yes, that is the idea. It is one of the various services incubation center provide. They allow to lab access, lab infrastructure. And what is the associated cost? So it depends on incubator to incubator. You have to reach out to incubator of your choice to find out more. Now, we are a diagnostic device set up on fetus health and struggling to find a clinical advisor. So I want Lini or Dr. Devashish to take this question. Can you suggest how can we go about finding a clinical advisor? It's a startup of diagnostic device startup for fetal health.
You can actually, you'll be having your own hometown. There will be hospitals, which actually deal with such, government hospitals, which will be dealing with fetal health, or pediatricians, neonatologists, or even gynecologists. Then you can go and talk to them without revealing your whatever nobility is there. Don't go and just say about all the ideas, but you can actually talk about your problem statement and ask them for a time, ask for an appointment after their OP time. Be very nice with them. Doctors have they value their time very much. So ask for an appointment after that. Go and meet them and tell that you are actually working on a very innovative product. So you want to discuss about the problem. Don't discuss about the product, discuss about the problem. If they are interested, they are very helpful. They'll be talking to you. Then you can ask them whether you can place their name as a clinical advisor, then only put their name. Don't take otherwise. Actually, it will work out. Dr. Debashish can actually can suggest something.
I think it depends where they are. Wherever they are, I think they will get someone close by, whether it's a any PHC or a CHC or a corporate hospital or even a clinic. Or they might have some family or friends who will have a doctor, and they can connect easily to a gynecologist or someone who works in that area for initial feedback and connect. And if they like, then maybe, as Lenny said, they can discuss if they can keep him or her in this journey.
Another question is a project which is at preclinical trial stage, and they want to fund clinical trial and further regulatory approval for fully design a commercial-level product. Should we apply for BIG? It might not be very favorable because BIG is given for ideation to prototype, but we can discuss this application. Generally, preclinical trial stage and for clinical trial, there are other grants like BIPP.
SIBRI is there for.
SIBRI, yes. SIBRI and BIPP, yes. Is BIG grant given for biosimilar development? Yes, since it's a healthcare product and it is in field of biotechnology, yes, this kind of projects are eligible to apply. It's a climate tech related question, specifically for decarbonization of hard to abate sectors by innovative carbon capture, local scalable. Can we apply because climate change? Yes. Yes, carbon capture and climate tech related projects are eligible for BIG application. You can apply. TRL 4 eligible for applying BIG. Now BIG application should be from 0 to 4. So if you are exactly at TRL 4 or just below TRL 4, you can apply, but not above TRL 4. Company is 1 and 5 year old, but not incubated. Then how to go about BIG application? You can talk to an incubator of your choice and get a letter of intent from that incubator. You can also reach out to the BIG partner through whom you want to put your application, and they can help you out for their letter of intent. We are at TRL 6. TRL 6 is not exactly a BIG level, but if you want to understand the TRL of your project as per BIRAC's specification, you can reach out to BIG partner to understand it more. What weightage you give for a business model innovation? So it has been discussed, but I want Dr. Debashish to take this question. Business model innovation.
Just for business model innovation, they might not get much of selection because we are looking at technology innovation. Because they will not get IP protection. Okay, if they don't get IP protection, then tomorrow there might be someone else getting into that field so soon. Okay, so in BIG, there has to be some technology innovation where they can protect themselves, IP. Not from a grant perspective, even from a business perspective, they need to have something, what we say, a barriers to entry. Okay, to compete with you. So just business model innovation might not be very, very suitable for BIG.
Yes. They are asking if big grant is given for API development, which is not available in India, which can be an import substitution. Yes, this kind of application is also eligible to apply. Just be. I was shortlisted last time. Commercialization was a query. So someone wants to understand how to go about the commercialization of their product. Probably they could not how to go about this GTM market strategy and commercialization.
I think they should talk to the big partner or the incubator with they're working. They can
Yes.
always connect to people or mentors who are in the marketing or business side, and they can help them whether
Yes.
what are the challenges or opportunities in that area.
Yes. Does BIG also fund software as a medical device system? Our product would be regulated under Class C by CDSCO.
I think only software, I think we do not, as per my knowledge. Just software, I think we don't, BIG does not just prefer only software. What do you take, Priyanka?
Yes, as for guideline, there is no problem applying for BIG grant, but when you are, since it is a very competitive grant, as Dr. Debashish rightly mentioned, at that point, how your project will be evaluated, that might be a question. Because what is the feasibility of getting grant for product development for GIT enhancing therapeutic? Against heat process toxin found in environment, scrutinization will be there from reverse perspective, not much awareness among general public. Okay, so this is a kind of project you can apply BIG for, but what kind of scrutinization will be there? I would like to say Shweta Shanthil Kumar, please write to us or write to the BIG partner of your choice and take their pre-application mentoring to understand this, because this is a big question. We cannot answer this in this short webinar Q&A session. I don't know to explain this. Okay, someone wants to apply with a cost-effective synthetic method for specialty chemical or high-value pharmaceutical raw material. What point should I focus while writing BIG grant? So as we have mentioned when you are writing for BIG grant, there are 5 different evaluation criteria. You have to focus on all this novelty, technical feasibility, differentiation, team, market potential, and also you have to focus on what is the problem statement, how is the value proposition. All these things you should focus on. You can also write to the BIG partner of your choice. You can also write to us, and we'll try to guide you as much as possible. Clear level application for malaria rapid application. Yes, this kind of application is eligible. So we'll have a huge number of questions and getting out of time. So I'll be taking 2 more questions. Rest of you can just write to me. How to get an LOI from an incubator? Is there any template? So there is, yes, there are templates for slide deck and proposal. You can just write to us. I have already given my email ID and we'll provide you that template. Manufacturer of millet value added product, can I apply? BIG is an innovation grant. So you have to first find out what is the innovation in this millet value added product. And if it is an innovation, if it fits technically, you can always apply for this grant. Will a startup that is going to be not yet incorporated startup can apply for this grant? Yes, the BIG grant is for individual and also for companies. So individual people who are not incorporated startup can apply for this grant. When you get the grant, then you can incorporate a startup. Out of time, so please write to us at SINE_BIG@SINEIITB.com, SINEIITB.org. If you have any other question, if you need any guidance. And with this, I'll stop to this session. And thank you, Lini and Dr. Debashish, to join us in a short notice. and also make us understand how important the market is, how important a team member, requirement of clinician, how to apply for this grant. And I also want to thank you all our collaborators. I can see Ahmed, Dr. Anand, Dr. Muruganeshan, and Rashmi, Mandi, Ritika. Thank you all for joining us today for a
Thank
quick.
you.
Yes,
Thank you,
if you
Priyanka, for calling us. Yeah.
yes,
For all the applicants, I would actually want to say one more word, because SINE IIT Bombay was actually very helpful in releasing all the tranche for me at the right time when I needed money. They were actually behind me saying that we'll release the tranche, finish your milestones very fast. So this is actually a very this will be a very nice choice for as a BIG partner. It is not because they called me, it is because I had a very nice experience with them.
yes.
Thank you for calling me.
Yeah, thank you, Leni, for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Das, and thank you all my collaborators for today's session. Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.